the leader in talk radio on the internet, right here on K98Talk.com.
If you want to work until you keel over, have less of everything in retirement, or give back more of your hard-earned money to the stock market again, then just ignore me. But if you'd like to protect the money you save, receive a steady, predictable retirement income, and enjoy financial security for as long as you live, then listen to this. You can download a free report that reveals the wealth-building secrets Wall Street and the banks don't want you to know. You'll learn how you can get guaranteed growth, safety, and real prosperity without risking your money in the Wall Street casino, and how to get the money you need when you need it, simply by asking for it. This is the best way to have a 100% secure retirement and know your money will last as long as you do. To learn more about this method and to get your free report, go to 29security.com. That's the number 29security.com. 29security.com. Go to 29security.com.
This is Slickery Trigger for Rebel Road Tactical. With proper care and feeding, your pistol will be ready when you need it, there to save your life. Shouldn't your gear be that good? Whether you need a holster for comfortable everyday carry or a tough-as-nails holster for your next training course, Rebel Road Tactical has what you need. Check us out on the web at rebelroadtactical.com.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 1-800-516-7602 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 1-800-516-7602 to take your call right now. Call 1-800-516-7602. That's 1-800-516-7602. Again, 1-800-516-7602.
In these uncertain economic times, you've got to do whatever you can to save money. One of our biggest expenses can be our cars, especially when unexpected repair bills hit. Not anymore. If you own a vehicle with less than 130,000 miles, is less than 12 years old, has a warranty about to expire, or even no warranty at all, you could stop paying for car repairs. Roadside assistance, towing, and rental coverage are all included. Don't wait for the next repair. Make one free call right now to see if you qualify. If your vehicle is less than 12 years old, has less than 130,000 miles, even if it's out of warranty, paying for car repairs can become a thing of the past. Call us right now and get your car protected before your next repair bill hits. Get protection and no more repair bills. Call 800-696-1030. Again, 800-696-1030. That's 800-696-1030. 800-696-1030.
Alright folks, this is Rick Robinson with you. I want to tell you about some friends of mine from a company called Security Enforcement Specialists. When I ran my security agency for 12 years, I worked with one of these partners on a daily basis. He's been involved in this agency now, and with his other partner, they do have over 30 years of experience in the private security industry. If you own a business and you need someone to keep you or your customers or residents safe, then I highly recommend contacting Security Enforcement Specialists today. Give them a call at 405-703-1796. Again, that's 405-703-1796. Again, tell them Rick from K98 Talk sent you. Like I said, if you need the help, they are here for you. So make sure that you go look them up, check them out, and see what they can do.
Wrong way. Welcome to the place. Welcome.
Joe had huge problems with the IRS.
I knew it was coming. I hadn't filed taxes since 1990.
All the IRS letters coming in added up to a nightmare.
To get up to like $68,000. My heart started beating fast. It's like, there's no way, man. I mean, I ain't going to be able to do this.
Then they stopped his paycheck.
So that's when I started making phone calls and found U.S. Tax Shield.
U.S. Tax Shield went to work immediately.
They just took the bull by the horns. What blew my mind is he called the IRS right then and there.
So why is U.S. Tax Shield A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau? Joe knows.
They saved me a ridiculous amount of money.
If you owe more than $10,000 to the IRS or state, choose the company Joe chose, U.S. Tax Shield.
It was the best decision I made. U.S. Tax Shield is the way to go. Life is good. Thank you, Lord.
Call 800-471-3287.
U.S. Tax Shield. Boo-rah. Yes.
800-471-3287. 800-471-3287.
The Internet will never be the same. You're listening to K98Talk.com.
Good God, y'all. What is it good for? Absolutely. Let's get started again.
In this present crisis, government is not the solution to our problem. Government is the problem.
Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall.
Well, the trouble with our liberal friends is not that they're ignorant. It's just that they know so much that isn't so.
Welcome to the Red State Town Hall program. I'm your host, Primo Montoni. My co-host, Ken Brown, will join me in a couple of minutes. Please visit the show's website, redstatetownhall.com. While you're there, be sure to like us on both Facebook and Twitter. If you wish to contact us, the email address is premo, P-R-E-M-O, at redstatetownhall.com. Our show is broadcast here on Red State Talk Radio, America's premier, grassroots, conservative internet talk radio network. The show is also syndicated through iTunes, Stitcher, TuneIn, Podomatic, TalkStream Live, Player.fm, Roku, and at least a dozen other websites. You can listen to the station using their Android, iPhone, and BlackBerry apps. Visit the station's website, redstatetalkradio.com, to download the appropriate app for your smartphone. If you don't have a smartphone, you can listen using any phone on the station's 24/7 listener line provided by TalkStream Live by dialing the following. For Studio A, 605-562-4209, and for Studio B, 518-712-0045. Before we start the show, let's give a shout out to our AM, FM, and digital affiliates. WDDQ, FM 92.1, Adel, Georgia. WSFB, 1490 AM, Talk 97.7 FM, Quitman, Georgia. WJNW, AM 1650, Herman, Tennessee. Talk Radio, AM 1620, KTFL, Gilbert, Arizona. WMQL Radio, FM 105.5, Brevard, North Carolina. Coffin County Talk Radio, AM 1680, KCTR, Terrell, Texas. Tax Pro Radio, Gainesville, Georgia, WCNR Digital, West Virginia, and K98Talk.com. Now let's bring on my co-host from Atlanta, Georgia, Mr. Ken Brown. Mr. Brown, how you doing today, sir?
Doing all right. A little chilly here in Georgia, but otherwise pretty good. How you?
Yeah, a little chilly here too. I think I guess we got in the 20s last night or whatever, and it's only going to be in the 30s, I think, today. So that's, but whatever. It is winter, So
we got that wintry mix thing coming. Well, they're talking about it here, so you're probably going to get something too.
Yeah. I hadn't really looked at the weather that much because I'm one of these people. I don't know about you, but I never really look at the weather because I feel like hell, there ain't anything you can do about it anyway. I mean, so I just don't. The way I look at it, if I'm going to go to work or I got something to do, I don't even consider it because I'll deal with it when I go out to my truck and take a look at the roads, kind of thing. And I'll decide if I'm going to go or I'm going to stay home or what I'm going to do, and the only time I ever look at the weather, and I really don't do this much anymore, is when we used to go to a ball game or something like that, which I don't do much anymore. I would check the weather then simply because I want to know if I need to have rain gear or something like that sort of stuff. And, now that I don't really go to the ball games like I used to in the old days, I just really don't care. Anyway, let's get started. We got a bunch to talk to talk about. So, number one, real quick, Super Bowl. Denver Broncos won. I'm glad. Peyton Manning gets 2 Super Bowl rings. Anything else? We need to talk about that.
Well, I'm glad too. I'm actually shocked that.
I was actually
the defense was all over Cam Newton.
Oh man, they were. Yeah, the defense is unbelievable.
Well, they won the Super Bowl.
Yeah. The only defense I think that compares to them, at least this particular Denver Bronco defense for this year, is the old 1985 Chicago Bears. They were even more dominating than these guys, but these guys are pretty damn close, and it was a good thing. So anyway, next. Real quick. A new program has been added to the lineup here on Red State Talk Radio, Blowing Smoke, hosted by A.J. Gaynor. And A.J. Gaynor, I didn't know the guy until just recently. He actually was the drummer for a rock group called 12 Stones. And I wasn't familiar with them because I'm an old fart and I don't really know what's going on. And I pulled them up, listened to some of the music, and pretty good stuff. And he's not doing that anymore. He got through that in 2014, I think. It was with him for quite a few years, and they're still touring and stuff. But he's kind of gotten off that, and he started his own podcast and does a pretty good job. And so we discussed having him come on and doing a show here on Red State Talk Radio. And I'm interested. He debuts, by the way. His first show is Wednesday night at 1 a.m. Anyway, and he'll also replay sometime on the weekends, but everybody check that out. Blowing Smoke by A.J. Gaynor, a rock and roll conservative. So that should be kind of fun. Real quick, let's talk about the New Hampshire results. First of all, let's talk about the Democrat side real quick. Bernie Sanders gives Hillary a whooping in the New Hampshire primary. I mean, it wasn't even close. Yet still, kid, Hillary Clinton winds up with actually a couple more delegates than Bernie Sanders done, even though he roundly defeated her.
That makes a lot of sense, doesn't it?
Well, the thing is, they actually had Debbie Wasserman Schultz, the poodle. She was being interviewed after the New Hampshire primary, and she was being asked a couple things. Number one, she was asked, well, how in the world does Hillary Clinton get more delegates? And it's because of what they call their super delegates, which are basically big wigs in the party who are, committed to whoever they want to be committed to, regardless of the vote. And she admitted on the air, she tried to spin it as if they were being very democratic and were being inclusive to all groups and blah, blah, blah. But she really admitted on the air that the primary reason the Democrats do this is that to stop grassroots candidates from getting the nomination. And I thought, well, duh, that's kind of go against, what.
That the establishment, is that what we're talking about?
Yeah. And it was amazing to hear her admit that. And really, she tried not to, but she couldn't help herself because it is what it is.
Yeah.
Secondly, she was asked in an interview. She's being interviewed on Fox News. She does come on Fox News sometimes. And Brett Baer asked her if, you've had all these debates. You've got several more, coming. What about putting one of them on Fox News channel? Let Fox News channel do one of the debates. And she avoided the question, of course. And she said, well, I'm here on Fox News now talking to you, and I'm happy to do it, and I always enjoy it, and blah, blah, blah. But she could not bring herself to admit that there's no way in hell they're ever going to have the Democrats are ever going to have a debate on Fox News. And the thing is, they're missing a good opportunity because I didn't know this. I mean, I knew there were some people who did, but according to Fox own research, 25% of the people who listen to Fox, who watch Fox, are Democrats.
I'm sure.
So, yeah, I'm sure there had to be some. I didn't know what the percentage was until just recently when I heard this. I thought, well, you're taking a quarter of the people who watch Fox News and you're just like to them. And I don't think that's just dumb, isn't it?
I just think those are the so-called Reagan Democrats. Those folks that that they know common sense when they hear it.
Yeah.
It's true.
You're probably exactly right. You're probably exactly right.
I'm telling you it's true because you think about they don't come on Fox for any debates from the Democratic side because they're going to have to explain how they're going to pay for all that free crap they give out.
Oh yeah, have you seen that meme that's on Facebook where all the free crap that Bernie Sanders is talking about is like another additional $18 trillion in spending.
Well, there you go.
We're $19 trillion in debt, $200 trillion plus in unfunded liabilities, and Bernie Sanders thinks we've got another $18 trillion we can blow. Good God Almighty!
Well, I think Bernie's big deal here, and this is what I'll rest my hat on, is that it's not for Bernie. The people aren't for Bernie. They just don't want Hillary.
I think it's two things: A, they don't want Hillary, and B, they want more free crap. So.
Well, that's true too. But I think that the big deal is the only alternative to Hillary, if you're a Democrat, is Bernie.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, it's not getting fragmented like the GOP field is. Which, by the way, let's talk about the GOP field in New Hampshire. And we're kind of rushing along here, folks, because there is so much to cover. We're kind of doing this because the GOP debate last night is really what we want to talk about. But let's go ahead and just finish up on the New Hampshire debate. New Hampshire primary when it comes to the GOP field. Of course, Donald Trump, did really well. And then Kasich did kind of what we thought. We talked last week. We thought, Kasich would do pretty well. He did. He finished second, a distant second, but he finished second. And then Ted Cruz was third, which is a little bit of a surprise. I thought he'd do okay, but I don't know if you saw the graphic to where the amount of money Ted Cruz spent in
$800,000
in New Hampshire. I saw two different graphics. One said he spent a little over $500,000. One of them said it was $800,000. So whatever, it was less than $1 million, no matter what you say. And supposedly Bush spent $34 million.
Of course.
And he came in what, fourth or fifth? Fifth, I think.
Yeah,
I think it was fifth.
I don't know, fourth or fifth.
And I'm thinking, man, you do all that and spend all that time up there and go to all those events and whatever. And so, really, the fact that Cruz did as well as he did without spending that much money, that says a lot. And considering it's New Hampshire too, you got to remember that. That's not necessarily Cruz territory. I mean, that's
that's a win for Cruz.
Yeah, that's a win for Cruz if you come in third and spending that little bit of money in a state like New Hampshire.
Well, they tell me, and everything I've heard and read and listened to is that he's got a great ground game. And, and not just New Hampshire.
Oh, he's all across the South,
Super Nevada.
Yeah.
So
we're going to find out soon.
That's going to be the biggest thing. But you know what the greatest thing about New Hampshire was? Bye Chris Christie.
Well, and I hate to say it, Carly Fiorina, she's out too, and those are two people, and that Gilmore guy, whichever, bless his heart, I don't think he ever polled above 0.5%. So he's gone. Christie's gone. Fiorina's gone. Now you only have I guess, 6 or 7 now, whatever. There were 6 on the debate stage last night. So, is there Ben Carson was the last one to qualify. There's really nobody else after that, is there? It's just 6 or 7. Is there someone else I'm forgetting that we?
Well, there's 6 on the stage last night. That's all there is.
Yeah, I mean, there might be somebody else that's still technically running, but good luck. Anyway, when it comes to New Hampshire, Trump did pretty much like everybody thought he would do. And like I say, Rubio, of course, Cruz did well. But Rubio, obviously, his previous debate performance before the New Hampshire debate hurt him. He only finished 4th, and he was expected to do much better. They probably thought he was going to pull in either 2nd or 3rd, and he wound up being 4th. But he was pretty close to Cruz, so it was within striking distance of each other. But anyway, the bottom line is New Hampshire's over, Iowa's over. Of course, Cruz won Iowa. Cruz came in 3rd in New Hampshire, and of course Trump won New Hampshire. And here we are now going to South Carolina. And of course, they had the GOP debate last night. And before we get started into that, we need to mention that senior U.S. Supreme Court Associate Justice Antonin Scalia died yesterday, just a couple hours before the debate. And kind of a shocker. Even though the guy was 79 years old, he was at a resort or something and, was found dead in his room. He was with some friends the night before, and when he didn't show up for breakfast, someone went to go check on him, and he was gone. And this, forget the political aspects of it, just talking about Scalia, what a rock in the conservative movement.
Stalwart. He
has been since he was nominated by Reagan in the late 80s. Stalwart, a rock. He has been. This is a guy who's an originalist, who believes in the Constitution is what it is. It's not to be interpreted the way, of course, liberals like to say this living, breathing document. He famously said one time, the Constitution is not a living, breathing document. It's dead. It's been dead for a long time. In other words, it is what it is. And he doesn't mean that in a bad way. He means that quit trying to say that it says things it doesn't say. I mean, that's one of his
legal document, yeah.
It's a legal document. It is. It says what it means. It means what it says. Don't sit there and start dreaming crap up out of thin air, which is what liberals love to do. That's what they, And so we lost someone really important, this weekend. If you're conservative, you'd be hard pressed to find another Supreme Court justice that's more conservative than Scalia, and the only one that might even give him a race might be Clarence Thomas.
Yeah,
and
which brings around the question of Obama and what he might do.
Yeah, unfortunately, it actually, that was the first thing they let off with the debate last night, was about Justice Scalia. And by the way, when they asked everyone to bow their heads and give a moment of silence for Justice Scalia, guess who didn't bow his head?
Kasich.
Well, he didn't initially, but he eventually did.
Yeah.
But the guy right in the middle, Mr. Trump, never bowed his head, and as far as I know, he wasn't praying, which, he doesn't have to pray. I mean, it just shows a lack of respect, I think. And if he's supposed to be a conservative, which I keep saying he's not, and I keep seeing people on Facebook that I'm friends with who have bought into this guy, and I'm thinking, what the hell are you thinking, man? Are you not?
Well, I just want people to for Trump, if it comes down to it, Trump's the nominee, I will vote for him. But I don't. He's not my first choice, because look at all the debates. We've had 9 debates, and he has no depth, none. He doesn't go into any depth at all about what he's going to do. He just says, "I want to make America great again. I want to bring jobs back, get them out of China, get them out of Mexico." That's all I hear. It's over and over and over again. Then he attacks Bush or attacks somebody else, and he redirects the the question to some attack, and I just can't believe the guy. I don't know what he's been all over the place.
Yeah, we've got some other stories we need to try to get to too. But on the GOP debate, his performance last night. I said this on Facebook, and I'll say it again, and we'll go into more depth here in a minute. But if normally Trump does what he does his antics, he does his thing, and he goes up in the polls. It's amazing how he's able to do that. And I said last night, if this guy goes up in the polls after his performance last night, which I think in some ways was shameful, we're really in trouble.
Well, we talked about this, and South Carolina is a different animal, as is the South.
Yes.
And it's not New Hampshire, it's not Iowa, and Ted Cruz won Iowa, so that gives me a little bit of hope with the Ted Cruz phenomenon. I'm talking about the Trump phenomenon. But South Carolina is going to be a real interesting battle here to see what really plays out.
Yeah, the primary is next Saturday, which is basically almost a week from now, because we're recording this on Sunday. I'm going to be really interested to watch the polls the first middle part of the week, when they finally get the first few polls come out that are done after the South Carolina debate we had last night. You would think that Trump's support will go down after that debate performance, after what he did, and we're going to go into that in more detail here in a minute. And you would think that maybe, you know what? Again, I thought Bush, the previous debate in New Hampshire, I thought Bush had his best debate performance. Mm-hmm. I think he outdid himself this time in South Carolina. I think Bush kind of stood up to Trump, and they went back and forth. And of course, we're going to talk about how rough the debate was last night. My God, it was unbelievable.
This hurts Trump. Are you going to a break?
No, we got about 4 minutes till we got to go to break. So.
Oh, this hurts Trump to me because of 6 people. Now he gets a lot more airtime. So does Bush. So does Cruz. All of them. They get a lot more airtime, and so you get to hear more what they think. And Bush, yeah, you're right. He stood out a lot better against Trump because he had more time to do so.
Yeah, and then you had Kasich and Ben Carson trying to be the adults in the room, trying to calm everything down. And I don't think that really plays off well, especially in South Carolina. South Carolina is no holds barred kind of. That's just the way it is down there, and. They like their politics rough down there, and it showed. I mean, but Kasich, I'm telling you what, the guy, he is such a moderate. He reminds me of an old style Democrat. That's what he reminds me of.
Yeah, he's
But the problem is, he can't go to the Democrat debate because they're so damn far left of him that gosh.
Oh. He's not as bad as Christie, but he's close.
Yeah. And bless his heart, Carson, I think he's pretty much done for. And if it weren't for the way he's still in a few polls, he wouldn't have been on the stage last night. Really, I hate to say it, but I like the guy, but he really shouldn't have been on the stage last night. It should have just been 5 people, really, to be honest with you. So, as far as I'm concerned, like I say, I don't care for Kasich. They could have left him out, and I wouldn't have cared. But since he did so well in New Hampshire, he had to be there. So I get that part of it. But let's see, we only got about a couple minutes left. A couple things I want to get rid of real quick, and then the second half of the show, we're going to talk about nothing but the debate. But there's an article from the Daily Caller on RedStateTalkRadio.com I want to look at about the secrecy surrounding Obamacare's co-op investigation. Please take a look at that and just realize what the hell is going on and the lies that are being told, and the Obama administration and these co-ops are just not cooperating with. It's just unbelievable what's going on. Also, the GOP is starting to realize, and this is another Daily Caller article that's on RedStateTalkRadio.com. and this was before the debate, they're starting to realize that Trump could actually win this thing. And the GOP is just, the title of the article is GOP Establishment Stares into the Abyss. They're starting to figure out that, this guy might actually win. And if he doesn't win, it might be Cruz. And they're thinking, we're not going to get one of our guys in that establishment lane. They may not even, get past. I don't know if they'll get past South Carolina, but as we've talked about, Super Tuesday is a big freaking deal, and South Carolina is the first portent for that because South Carolina is much more similar to Super Tuesday states than anything else.
Did you hear Lindsey Graham last night? A little quick little interview after the thing was over.
Yeah, go ahead.
And of course he says, well, we can, all our candidates are good. He says, they can win the general election except for Trump and Cruz. That's Lindsey Graham, isn't it? Can't get Trump in there, can't get Cruz in there. Anybody else we're good with?
Yeah. Isn't that something that they would sit there and do that? I mean, cannibalize themselves like that? That's just, I don't know. Okay, real quick, another story that you want to read or check on RedStateTalkRadio.com, exclusive story from the Daily Caller. Former Obama Defense Intel Chief says Hillary should step down now and save the FBI and the Justice Department a whole lot of money. So, and then also the IRS chief, let's get this out real quick. The IRS chief says he's blaming all the rotten customer service for the IRS on data hacks on Obamacare. So basically he's blaming Obamacare for the fact that they can't do their freaking job. And in that article, it mentioned, Ken, that guess what? During tax season, that last year, now not this year because we're still in the middle of tax season. Last year, over 8 million calls to the IRS were unanswered. 8 million.
8 million.
8 million.
There you go.
That's government. Doesn't that tell you everything you really need to know right there?
A real quick story. Are you going to break? Because I know.
Yeah, we're actually over, but real quick.
I'll tell the break. We'll come back and I'll tell you the story.
Okay. All right. We'll go to break. And I want to mention, by the way, I'm just going to say this real quick. The FBI has now subpoenaed the Clinton Foundation. As if Hillary Clinton didn't already have enough trouble with the email scandals. They're starting to look into all the money at the Clinton Foundation. So buckle up, Hillary.
Russian City.
Let's go to break. Thank you for listening to Red State Town Hall program. We'll be right back.
Red State Talk Radio, WRS Cleveland.
Hi, this is Jeff Carlisi from the band 38 Special. The mainstream media has failed the American people once again. Internet radio networks like Red State Talk Radio will not fail you. Tune in 24 hours a day. Studios A and B. Great conservative programming around the clock. Red State Talk Radio, the dominant force in Internet conservative talk radio.
Are you tired of commuting to a job that makes someone else rich, working harder than ever, but getting nowhere? Do you hate spending hundreds of dollars every week on daycare, having someone else raise your children? With our opportunities, you can start earning money as soon as next week. You get to be the boss, work from home, and live a happier life. At Be the Boss Network, you'll find hundreds of work-from-home opportunities that you can literally start today and be earning money as soon as next week. Go to freedom36.com and start earning money as soon as next week. You get to be the boss. Get out of the rat race. Work from home. Go to freedom36.com right now and change your life today. That's freedom, the number 36.com. Go to freedom36.com and start earning money as soon as next week. You be the boss. Go to freedom36.com.
The path to restoring our republic was laid down by our founding fathers. The principles of freedom, liberty, personal responsibility, and limited government are conservative ideals we will never abandon.
America is listening.
Grassroots, common sense, conservative talk radio. It's on the internet. Tune in now. Red State Talk Radio, featuring some of the most popular internet talk show hosts in America today. Are you listening? RedStateTalkRadio.com.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 800-400-1756 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 800-400-1756 to take your call now. Call 800-400-1756. That's 800-400-1756. Again, 800-400-1756.
Tired of the same old blah, blah, blah of traditional conservative talk radio?
We know that under the 49% rate, the U.S. economy will.
Then tune in to New Media's Talk Monster for grassroots, common sense, conservative talk radio, Red State Talk Radio.
What if all wartime spending is paid for through the deceitful and evil process of inflating and borrowing?
WRS Digital, Cleveland, Tennessee.
If you're diabetic, this message could change your life. Is your blood sugar out of control even when you do all the right stuff? Are you afraid of diabetic blindness and the risk of amputation, as well as all those other side effects? Well, you should be. Is there anything that could help manage your blood sugar? Nobetes is a natural supplement that may quickly and dramatically lower your blood sugar.
My name is Bob Corder. I've been using Nobetes for about 3.5 to 4 months now, and in the first 3 months, I've actually lowered my blood sugars from 500s down to 139, and then it dropped to 88 to 93.
My name is Kirsten. I'm a type 1 diabetic, and while taking Nobetes, my blood sugar levels dropped from 295 to 115 in just 1 day.
The FDA hasn't evaluated these statements, and Nobetes isn't intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. But for many, it's helped drop their blood sugar. So if you've been evaluated with high blood sugar, don't delay. Evaluate Nobetes now. Call 800-554-7159 and get your free bottle. Just cover shipping and handling. Call 800-554-7159. That's 800-554-7159.
Tune in to Red State Talk Radio, the new media's talk monster for grassroots.
That's what freedom is all about.
Common sense.
I would be willing to use waterboarding.
Conservative talk radio.
Big spending liberal.
Red State Talk Radio. WRS Digital, Cleveland, Tennessee.
Commerce.
Okay, we're back. Go ahead, Ken. You said you had a story you wanted to interject here real quick before we start on the debate.
This was, oh gosh, 30, 40 years ago, I guess. I had moved to Texas, and I had worked for I had my real estate license, and I was selling homes. And I at the time, I guess you probably do this. I had to send my taxes in every quarterly. They didn't withhold any of my earnings. I had to pay it myself.
Yeah, exactly.
So I did the anyway. I got my W-2s or whatever, and I got my money back. I got every penny back, every single penny I paid that year. Mm-hmm. And I called the IRS and I said, okay, this is what happened. And he said, well, quote unquote, the IRS guy I talked to said, well, lucky you. And I said, no, you don't understand. I said, I don't have no problem paying my taxes. Whatever I do to pay taxes, I'll pay that. I shouldn't get every penny back. And he goes, well, he said, there's nothing we can do if your employer doesn't report, whatever. And I'm like, okay. That year I paid $0 in taxes. Now, of course, I hope it's long ago that no one was listening on the show from the IRS. But that's what I dealt with on the phone with the IRS. Lucky you.
Well, I mean, I've talked to him a couple times on the phone. I have not done so in a while, and the last conversation we had did not end well, so I won't go into all that. But I basically told him to come get me, kind of a thing.
Yeah.
But anyway, what I'm getting at is, customer service there it sucks, and it's ridiculous how bad the IRS is in terms of doing what they're supposed to do, and the amount of cheating that goes on, and it's just crazy. I mean, again, that's why we need to go the fair tax. I mean, we're going to have a fair tax show in April. I hope we can do one. So anyway, let's get to the GOP debate. We danced around it. We talked about it a little bit, but I mentioned on Facebook that I was not a big wrestling fan, but I felt like I just got through watching a cage match. It was unbelievable last night. I have never seen a debate that was that raucous. Have you, Ken? I mean, can you remember one that was? And we've had a few good ones this election cycle, but this blew the doors off.
It wasn't the moderators doing it.
No, not really. The questions asked were pretty good questions for the most part. To give CBS a little bit of credit, but I'm telling you what, CBS could not contain these guys. They just went after each other,
and they let them go.
Well, it was good television.
It was. They let them go. It was. It wasn't like, okay, your turn, so and so, your turn. No, they just talked over each other and they just went back and forth.
Oh, they just interrupted and whatnot. And I don't know how many times I heard, "You're a liar, you're a liar," over and over again. And not just for one person. I mean, Trump was doing it.
Rubio said it.
Rubio Cruz. I mean, it was just a back and forth. And my goodness. And Trump, I'm telling you what, Trump, the wheels came off of Trump last night. I don't care what anybody says, at least in the first half of the debate, he lost it. I don't know what the hell happened to him, but whether he was pissed off before he got there or what, but
he had started attacking Bush right off the bat.
Yeah, but I mean, he was going way off the rails. I mean, the fact that you had a Republican debate, we talked about this before we went on the air, but the fact you had a Republican debate and Trump sitting there blaming, not just blaming, but mentioning the fact that 9/11 happened on George W. Bush's watch and that he did not keep us safe and blah, 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 blah. And the crowd booed him severely. I mean, I think he lost a lot of people on that because they got into whether or not we should have been in the Iraq War, and he was talking about, Bush lied, people died, and I mean, he sounded like he was either Hillary or Bernie Sanders. He was bringing up all the Democratic talking points about wasting all the money in Iraq, and we shouldn't have been there in the first place, and blah, blah, blah. It was just awful.
And it was George Bush's fault for 9/11, and
and
he lost 100 friends or something, and I'm like, what?
Yeah, and I understand that he lived in New York, and I'm sure he did lose some people in the Twin Towers that day.
Sure,
had friends or whatever, and so I can understand that part of that a little bit, but that just was not smart politically. I mean, forget the fact that I mean, and I think it showed his temperament. Do we want a guy like this to be president of the United States? I don't think so. Now, you know what's funny is I got an email last night. This was actually, I can't remember if it was before the debate or after the debate. But, because I run the radio station and we have our own show, Ken, I do get emails from time to time. I got an email last night to my Red State Talk Radio account. And basically the guy said in a short and sweet way that he was never going to listen to us again. And I don't think he meant us, because since he sent the Red State Talk Radio account, I think he meant the station. And he was talking about how we were just butt kissers for Trump, kind of thing. And I'm cleaning it up a whole lot. And so I replied to the guy. I always reply to people, no matter what they say. I always give them, a reply. And I said, well, I don't know. I said, I don't know if you've ever listened to my show or not. I said, but myself and my co-host, neither one of us are Trump fans. Matter of fact, we both lean toward Cruz right now. Yeah. I said, that could change before the election. I said, but that's the way we both kind of look at things right now. I said, we've got, as of next week, we're going to have 47 shows on the network. And I said, I have no idea which host supports which candidate. I don't keep up with that. I don't really care, really, to be honest with you. I'm sure that some of the hosts I have are Trump supporters. I don't doubt that a bit. But I guarantee you some of them are Cruz supporters. Some of them are Rubio supporters. Some of them, hell, might be Bush supporters. I don't care. That's none of my business, really, the way I look at it. If they do a good show and it's basically a conservative show, that's all I care about. But the guy was apparently he listened to somebody who was a Trump supporter, and now he says he doesn't want to listen anymore. I said, I don't think you're looking at things the right way. I said, I'm sure that you could find shows on here that you'd be more inclined to listen to. I said, but you know what? I said, sorry to see you go, whatever. But I thought that was so strange that people would sit there and go to that length of just because you don't support their candidate, well, whoever it is. And see, he never said who he supported. He just didn't like the fact that somebody on the network liked Trump. And it just goes to show you, yeah, I don't know. I thought that was strange. And what I'm getting at is anybody who's supporting Trump at this point, I'm starting to wonder about him after what he did last night. I mean, Ronald Reagan had this thing, Ken. I know you know this, that his 11th commandment is a Republican shouldn't criticize another Republican, blah blah blah. Which I'm not sure I agree with that totally, but what I'm getting at is it went way past that last night. I mean,
yeah,
with the stuff on, and you know what I was surprised at a little bit, and I'm glad he did it, was Marco Rubio making a statement that he was glad that George W. Bush was president of the United States on 9/11 instead of Al Gore. And I thought that was good. I think that got him a few little bonus points right there with a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was a good thing to say, and I'm glad somebody said it. I wish Cruz had said it. And when they got onto that stuff, Cruz just kind of like stayed out of that whole deal because it was mostly Bush and Trump primarily on that particular issue. But then you had Rubio and Cruz going out on immigration again and basically calling each other liars. The kid. And
well, that's the only thing really that between those two that I see that they're different on, or they were different on. I know that Rubio had come back.
Well, it's the only topic that those two really have a big problem with each other about is immigration.
Yeah.
When you go to other topics, they pretty much, for the most part, are okay on most of those things. But man, it was so. I mean, if you had to sit here and just like, who would you think, if there's such a thing as winning a debate like that? I don't know if you can win a debate like we had last night. I'm not sure it's possible. Who do you think finished like 1, 2, 3 kind of thing? What do you think?
1, 2, 3. I thought Bush had a pretty good debate, even though he was going back and forth with Trump. I would say probably, Bush probably had the better one, his best one. Cruz, Rubio were probably tied for this 1, 2, and 3. I can't really tell you either one, but Trump was awful. I just thought he was awful. Kasich and Carson were, to me, non-existent.
Yeah.
So I think Bush had the better one, and then Rubio, Cruz tied.
So who are we forgetting? We got Bush, Trump, Carson, Kasich, and Rubio. Who's the sixth person?
Who am I missing?
Yeah, I'm trying to figure it out now. Apparently, they didn't impress us too much if we'd remember.
Yeah, who is the sixth person? Gosh.
Give me a minute. Jeez, I cannot. I'm sitting there looking at the stats.
Carson, Bush, Trump, Rubio, Kasich. Somebody's listening to our show going, "Are you idiots?"
I know. I'm having a hard time. Well, apparently they didn't make a big impression on either one of us because either one of us can remember who the hell the sixth person is. You had Cruz. You had Kasich and Carson on the outside, and then you had
Bush. And
we're missing somebody because then you had Rubio. Who?
The one next to Carson? Is that who we were missing? That was Rubio, wasn't it?
This is embarrassing. I cannot remember.
Well, there are only 5 on the stage or 6?
I thought there was 6. Maybe there was only 5. I'm almost sure it's 6, though.
Old. We were too old for old.
Oh, jeez. I tell you what. Now, people sitting there screaming at their radios now going,
Yeah.
You idiots. So-and-so.
You idiots. The last time I'm listening to your show, you
guys don't even know what the hell you're talking about. Anyway, my whole point was that I kind of lost my point. I got so confused there. Yeah, I mean, definitely Bush had his best debate. Like I said, by far, I don't even know if he won the debate, but he was up there. He was, I think he did himself pretty well. Cruz, I think, got the better part of Rubio on really one sentence, and that was where, because I think they went back and forth, and it's kind of hard to tell who the hell was right and who was wrong. But there's one part where Rubio goes, because Cruz was talking about what he said on Univision in Spanish.
Mm-hmm.
And Rubio goes, well, I don't know how you know what I said on Univision because you don't even speak Spanish. And then immediately Cruz sits there and speaks Spanish to him, and I didn't know what he said because I don't speak Spanish. Come to find out what Cruz said to Rubio was he'd be happy to debate him in Spanish.
Yeah.
Yeah, like anytime, anywhere, whatever. And so that kind of blew Rubio's whole thing of you don't speak Spanish kind of out of the water, I thought. But
yeah, that was a definitely a gotcha type thing that I think Cruz backfired with it. It backfired on Rubio.
You keep talking, and I am going to figure out who the hell was in the debate. It's killing me.
Well,
it's killing me. Have you figured it out yet?
My internet's not up. I've already been done it.
Okay. Let's see here.
You can look all you want. I can't do it. My computer is it's a one track right now. It's on Skype. What did you typing in the 6 candidates? Is that what you're doing?
Yeah.
You're Googling.
Yeah, there are 6 candidates. I guess we just either we can't count or something. Well, the 6 candidates were
math off.
Well, I guess Kasich, Bush, Cruz, Trump, Rubio, and Carson. That's 6.
We got them all.
We had them all. We just didn't think we had them all.
We just can't count.
We just can't count. Okay.
Well, see, it started off what 16. So.
Well, yeah, we can be forgiven. I think at the height, wasn't it 17 originally?
It was
16, 17.
It was 2 tiers. I know that.
Yeah, I know there was 2 different debates, and now there's no point in having another debate anymore. I don't guess, but anyway. So there were we had them all accounted for. We just can't count. So whatever. Yeah, I mean, okay. So first of all, the primary is not till next Saturday. So a lot could happen between now and then. There won't be any other debates, but there'll be all kinds of campaign events, and they'll be going at each other left and right. Trump's going to do well. Now the question is Trump going to do really well? The polls that we have up to now show Trump with a commanding lead, and Cruz is second, if I remember right. So are those the only 2 dogs that really matter, or will there still be that fight between Kasich, Bush, and say Rubio trying to get that establishment lane? I think Carson's done, as far as I'm concerned. I don't think he stands a chance. And really, if Carson stays in after South Carolina, you could say he should have already been out, just to be honest with you. But if he stays in past South Carolina, Carson realizes he's not going to win. He's just doing it to collect money and a mailing list. That's my opinion. I don't see it. I don't see how Carson has any chance at all. And Rubio, I think, pretty much made up for his horrible debate in New Hampshire. And hopefully people will, if you're a Rubio fan, you'll remember his South Carolina debate and just kind of forget the New Hampshire debate. So what do you think, Ken? I mean, is Trump going to win commandingly, or is it going to be a tight race? Even possible that Cruz pops up or someone else pops up?
I think it's going to be a split vote in so many ways. I just don't know. What I don't know is Trump. I don't know how many people, how much pull does he have? And is it run deep into the South? Because I don't see it, especially this debate performance last night, but I could be totally wrong. So
well, here's the thing. You know, we kind of walked around this, but South Carolina is Bush country. George W. Bush did well in South Carolina. He always did. You expect his brother to do pretty well. And here's the thing. George W. Bush is going to be campaigning for his brother this week. Big time.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's why Trump went off the rails, because he realized that George W. is popular, number one. Number two, South Carolina has a big military presence in South Carolina. And the military loved George W. Bush. And so I think Trump panicked. I think he kind of looked at things, and maybe somebody got in his ear and told him about how difficult it's going to be in South Carolina, that forget the polls, that the fact that George W. Bush is campaigning for his brother is going to be a big deal, and it could maybe turn the tide a little bit. I think maybe that's why he went so hard after Bush this time. I mean, I don't know. I'm just trying to understand why he came in so fired up. I mean, he was fired up nobody had to say anything to get Trump lit. His fuse was lit when he walked on the stage.
Well, maybe the reason he went after Bush so fast.
I think so. I think that has something to do with it.
Yeah, you're probably right. And you know how he's just silenced. He's made Jeb look so bad, and the other.
And it didn't play well this time. I mean, he just
he thought he could put a thumb on him and keep him down and make fun of him, and it'd be the same result. And I don't think it worked last night.
Well, yeah, he sat there and did the 41 million thing or whatever it was, however much. Supposedly Bush, I thought was 34 million. I think he said 41 million, which how much he spent in New Hampshire. And he was talking about, I mean, he kept doing that over and over again. And I don't think people were listening to that because he was just screaming and going nuts. And do you notice how red his face was?
Yeah.
I mean, I thought he was going to have a freaking heart attack. It was, I don't know. And here's the thing. Here's my question. A, in the polls, is it going to finally show up and hurt Trump? And B, does he get these huge rallies this week? Now, if he holds a rally and it's not attended well, that'll tell you something right there. If he has turned off people in South Carolina, now here's the thing with Trump. It's just like with Obama, and Hillary and so forth. There's a certain segment of the population that just love him, and they're going to be with him no matter what he does. He could do anything; it really doesn't matter. But there are people. But Trump has been able to pull from other areas that some other candidates have not been able to do thus far. I wonder if he loses those people, those quote moderates, those quote independents, because of what he did last night. Does he lose those people? I mean, I don't know.
Well, I mean, there's some people who are just Trump people. But
yeah, that's what I said.
Yeah, but those people, like you said, are there the fence hangers? You know, the in betweeners. I don't know.
Yeah,
that's the question. If he goes up in the polls, like you said, then he wins the whole nomination. I don't see how he can be stopped.
Well, yeah, if he goes up in the polls in South Carolina after his performance last night, then I think he sweeps it. I mean, I hate to say it, but I mean,
what's going to stop him?
Yeah. Right now, the only person that could possibly do it is Cruz, and that's because of his ground game. But if Cruz sits there and finishes second through all those Super Tuesday states, the thing is, think about Super Tuesday now, something everybody needs to recognize. On Super Tuesday, ladies and gentlemen, over 50% of the delegates will be assigned. on Super Tuesday alone. So, I mean, it's huge. And if you're not in striking distance after Super Tuesday, you're screwed. So, we're out of time. Jeez. Lord, it went fast. And by the way, there were 6 people there. We figured out who the hell they were. God almighty. That was terrible.
I'm going to be laughing at that the rest of the day.
I know. I can't believe whatever. We just had a brain fart, I guess.
I can't count to 6.
We can't count to 6. You know, I only went to 5th grade, so I can't count to 6. Okay. You want to take us out, Ken?
If we lose freedom here, there is no place to escape to. This is the last stand on earth. Ronald Wilson Reagan, our 40th president of these United States.
And that's it. We're out of here, and God bless Antonin Scalia. Jeez. Yeah. See you next time.